It is much pleasure to ask Dean Noll to address us on the history of the Lions Club of Gawler.
Good evening all. Who are the Lions? Lions Clubs International is the world's largest service club with 1.4 million members in 46,000 clubs in 210 countries around the world. It was a dream of a Chicago businessman, Melvin Jones. He believed that the local businessmen's clubs should expand from purely professional concerns to focus on working with the betterment of their community and the world. After contacting similar groups around the United States, he organised a meeting which was held on the 7th of June 1917 in Chicago. The new group took the name of one of the invited groups, Association of Lions Clubs. Just 3 years later, the organisation became international when it opened its first club in Canada. And that was simply because they didn't want to open it in Detroit because of prohibition. They could go to Canada and have a drink. So that's supposed to be a true story. In 1925, Helen Keller addressed at their convention in Ohio and challenged the Lions to become Knights of the Blind in a crusade against darkness. Since this historic event, Lions clubs have committed to can't even read my wife's typing now, to rid the world of preventable blindness and to provide services for people who are already blind or visually impaired. So on the 1st of July 1947 in Lismore, New South Wales, the first club was formed in Australia. This was largely the efforts of William Tresice, a retired past national president of Apex. In 1952, the first capital city clubs were formed, Melbourne and then Sydney. Lions came to South Australia, that being the City of Adelaide Club, on the 1st of July 1961. It was the 201st club in Australia. Gawler was formed on the 12th of September 1967 and was the 479th club in Australia. So you can see in that time that Lions took off and expanded fairly fast. Charter Night was the 25th of November 1968. The Gawler Institute. 220 people attended the charter, which was presented to President Frank White by District Governor Brim Clark. Office bearers for the first year were Dick Allen, the Secretary, and Treasurer Brian Colton. The first recorded fundraiser was a bottle and jar stall at the Hutchinson Hospital Fete. 20 cents a jar, and you picked for a pick. You took potluck what you got, because they were in a brown paper bag, I believe. Early days entertainment was 5-minute speeches by members so they'd get to know each other. 23 members attended a working bee, the National Trust, Telegraph Station and Murray Street. Service was given over 3 nights, lodging 72 hours of work. That was the first recorded working project I could find. The next year, 1968-69, Doug Bennett became the president. They laid concrete paths at Guides Hall, organised a New Year's Eve ball. Now, it was very expensive to go to. $1.20 was the admission price. $1.20.
12 shillings.
1 shilling.
No, it wasn't.
You have got a dollar sign here, my dear lady. My time.
What year was it?
8 something.
1969.
Oh, it was decimal currency.
Yeah, I said $1.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't. No. Just a little story. When I was district governor, Dorothy used to sit alongside of me and I'd make a mistake and I just cut her on there and said, "Thank you very much, spell check."
Spell check.
So she just can't help herself. Yeah.
These
So,
people are
Bruce
neat.
Eastick proposed a toast to Lions Clubs International. Interesting, he proposed a toast at our first handover dinner and again proposed a toast at our 50th handover dinner on the 28 in 2018-19. So just a, that was quite incidental actually. But the next year, 1969-1970, Norm Knispel was the president. First stage of Lions Park, it's now part of the swimming pool. This was completed in 1970-71 year and opened by the Mayor of Gawler, Bruce Eastick. Some 967 hours recorded as worked on the project. The club held its first glaucoma screening and screened some 700 people and 30 being sent on for further investigation. That's involvement with site, so that's where we started. The next year, it was 1970-71. Ray Norton was the president. They donated an air conditioner to an ambulance. It was also the first year they sold Lions Christmas cakes. They were a £3 cake in those days and they sold for $1.70. They are now a 1.5k cake and sell for $17. But it's still a very good price. The club has been selling them ever since. The Christmas cake program started nationally in 1966 to raise funds for Lions Safe Site programs. In the 50 years, the program has raised more than $60 million for Lions clubs in Australia.
Well, really.
Yeah, it is a multi-million-dollar project, the Lions Christmas Cake program. In 1971-72, Brian Colton was the president. Held another glaucoma screening, 457 were screened and 211 screened for diabetes. Collected and reconditioned 27 treadle-type sewing machines. These were distributed to Australian Aboriginal missions. It was the first time that the Lions Club of Gawler took part in their Youth of the Year quest, and this still goes on today, and we still are involved at different times. 1972-73, Jack Brooker was the president. Club members assisted in an African violet eradication program at Cleland's Park. Wildlife Sanctuary. This raised $2,000 for the district dialysis project. The club entered a float in the Christmas pageant built by John Fenton. 1973-74, installed emergency lighting, installed emergency flashing lights in homes for 20 elderly people in Gawler. And these weren't red ones, they were a light they used, they could put on if they had a problem, they could put the light on and flash to warn people that they may be in trouble. We did do that in another year too, we presented some more. They washed windows in the windows of the hospital. $1,250 were raised in a ring-a-thon to support Save Site through the Lions Miss Personality Quest. Over many years, Gawler Club have entered contestants in this quest, a total of 14 years. We were lucky, we had one runner-up in the fundraising and we won the fundraising one year. 1974-75, this year is the year I joined Lions. We donated $500 to disastrous Cyclone Tracy. We donated a trailer to the Scouts. Money raised from the beer ticket sales for the year was $2,251. This fundraiser was carried on for many years and made a lot of money for the club. In 1975-76, Barry Hammett was the president. A major part of the club's activity centred on the cottage homes for the aged. The club was involved in demolishing a house on the side of as well as establishing lawns and gardens. A major fundraiser was a greyhound benefit night, resulting in a profit of some $2,050. Major donations for the year was St John's Ambulance $1,000 and Aged Cottage Homes $1,000. In 1976-77, Jim Wills was the president. We erected a playground in Gawler South. This was vandalised soon after being completed, so we had to rebuild it again, which took many hours of work. $5,000 raised from Miss Personality Quest. This was the first year of 3 years of raising funds for the Lions Heart Research Foundation. Over 3 years, the Quest and clubs in South Australia raised $500,000 for this foundation. That is now the Lions Medical Research Foundation. It is a foundation that solely operates in South Australia and South Australian Lions districts. 1977-78, John Fenton, President. We celebrated 10 years of Lions at a dinner in the Paceway Way with 11 charter members present. We donated a car to the Royal District Nursing Association. I organised an Eddie Charlton snooker night in the barracks at Barnett Road, which was a very successful night. It had to be if I did it. 1978-79, Ron Davey was the president. We worked again, proceeded on the Lions Park adjacent to the swimming pool. A fundraiser was held at Betty and Norm Knispel's. Apparently little funds raised, but took place, but a lot of glass raising was done and enjoyed. If you knew Norm Knispel, you would have to understand that. We manned the gates of the Gawler show for the first time and donated $1,000 to the Gawler Community Centre project. 1979-1980, additions and extensions to Lions Park involving relocation of a cyclone fence, laying bitumen paths, constructing a pine log fence, approximately $1,600 spent for 260 man-hours of work. Again, I organised another very successful Eddie Charlton night. We also replaced the car of the Royal District Nurse. In 2080-81, it was my first year as president. Manned the gates for the 3-day event. $9,000 was donated to the Hutchinson Hospital to enable the purchase of a medical record system. And as far as I know, that system was still in use when they moved to the new hospital. An interest-free loan was granted to the Rotary Club from the Lions Club to enable them to complete the aged cottage homes, and I can't find what was ever repaid, but we won't worry about that. Maybe they're in debt to us, but I would think, no, the money was well spent anyhow. It's marvellous what you find when you find some old records. In 1981-82, John Hillier was the president. Laid pavers at the aged cottage homes, worked the swimming pool, donated a wheelchair to Care and Share, donated a new car, the third to the Royal District Nursing Society, manned the 3-day event gates with 100% club attendance. Wish I could get that nowadays. During his term as president, John sadly passed away and Frank White stepped in to fill the gap for the remainder of the year. 1982-83. Highlights were sponsoring a hearing dog for a lady at Evanston. The dog's name was Bonnie. The Lions Hearing Dog is an Australian multiple district program. It's based here in Verdon in South Australia. If you ever get up that way, and most people, they most welcome anybody to come and have a look through that centre. It is a marvellous centre. It opened in 1980. The program is based on an American program which was carried out in America by a Lions Club or a Lions District, whereby dogs are trained to notify their owners of certain noises are heard, such as phones, doorbells, smoke alarms, etc. And the dogs are used for this, not like guide dogs where they've got a particular breed. The dogs for this are all bitses. They come out of the pounds. So they are just, and they train them. The dogs have the same rights as seeing eye dogs, being allowed on trams and trains and everything else. Today, a dog, it costs around $30,000 to train a dog.
Yeah.
The sponsoring club pays $2,000 and the person receiving the dog gets it for free. And we've got the club that whoever is the host of the has to just keep us watch and visit the person with the dog for the first 3 months. So more work was done on the swimming pool, with section of the cyclone fence pulled down and erected again to give the space of the pool more area. Host an exchange student from the USA. He stayed with the various members of the Lions Club in Gawler for 4 weeks. We also, over the years, hosted several New Zealand students, and we sent several students to New Zealand. And we held our second progressive dinner. 83-84, Theo Krieg was the president. We replaced the Royal District Nurse's car again. The caravan we purchased the previous year, after many hours of work, it became a catering van. First outing was the village fair. We purchased an air conditioner for an aged individual pensioner. 1984-85, Ross Cook was the president. The club hosted the district handover dinner at the Lindock Hotel, the first of many old-time music halls organised and produced by Doug and Audrey Stace. One of the highlights of the year was a visit by Drew Kettle, who walked from Victor Harbour to Darwin for heart research. He spent a night in Gawler, and the next day members walked some distance with him when he left town. In 85-86, Ken Edwards was the president. The club donated $500 towards a portrait for Mrs. Heinrich, the librarian at the Gawler Library. For many years this was originally put in the institute, but now I'm not unsure where it is now. Highlights of the year was the club involvement with the 6th World Day eventing championship. Lions are responsible for the rostering of gatekeepers and parking and stand attendants. We were responsible for employing 45 to 65 people each day. We had to use a percentage of unemployed people, and the rest was made up of service club and other club people. We had the whole responsibility of doing their timesheets and the wage bill for that event, just for the gatekeepers, car parkers and stand attendants, was very close to $40,000 paid by the government. And our club share out of that was $9,000. Jim Down and I were the 2 Lions Club supervisors that organised that. That was the closest I've ever got to being divorced. We used to have a meeting at our place every night during that event to find people to do the gates. We usually drank a bottle of scotch a night, but one night it got that bad we drank two. So that's the closest I've ever got to being divorced. And Dorothy loves horses after that. In 86-87, Jim Downer became the president. We donated $570 towards roof repairs on the Gawler Guides Hall. Donated a car to the Hutchinson Hospital for the outreach section. The club became involved with the Gawler Chamber of Commerce to organise the Christmas Festival. 1987 to 1988, Lol Sobels became president. Celebrated our 20th anniversary with 10 charter members present. 17 members and partners attended the district convention at Millicent, where we were successful in winning the rights to host the 1989 district convention in Gawler. Once again, the club entertained the elderly citizens at a picnic at Williamstown, assisted with the purchase of an electric chair for a local residents. 1988-99, our major project was a joint fundraising project with the combined service clubs of Gawler in conjunction with the corporation to enable the Gawler Community and Rec Centre and Sport to be established. 200 hours spent laying pavers at the Williston Cemetery. 1989-1990, Ted Osmond, president. On the long week in October 89, we held the Bottle Brush Convention. The main part was held in the Sports and Recreation Centre. I actually booked that Sports and Recreation Centre for that event when it was a concrete slab. We were the Lions Convention was the first paid function they got paid any rent for, but in actual fact the Gawler show used it in August before it was handed over. But so that was the main place we used. That was for the convention. Donated $1,000 to Little Athletics for a shed, and we also supported the Scouts with a new canoe. The club took part in Rent a Crowd for a TV ad at Malalath at Pivot Fertiliser. We all went out there and we all got a square of cardboard in three different colours. It was red, blue and white, I think it was, and we had to all stand in a special word, and we spelt the word pivot when a plane flew over top and took our pretty pictures. 1990-91, Kevin Howard became president. Again, we supported the hospital with a Grosby pump and trolley. Pledged some $5,000 towards the restoration of the Gawler Institute. Further extensions to Lions Park. 1991-92, Bob Warren became our president. Highlights with painting the South End Adelaide Road Bridge, Mill End Bridge. Sent 2 needy children to a YMC camp on Kangaroo Island. A Youth of the Year, Simon Birmingham, reached the national finals at Newcastle. Even at that early age, all Simon ever wanted to be was a politician. So, donated some $6,000 towards the restoration of the Gawler Institute. 1992-93, Pat Mills, president, held the 25th anniversary dinner in the Institute. Continued with a heartthrob, donating teddy bears to children with trauma. These teddy bears were given to the police and the ambulance, and they distributed to needy children when required. Worked some 2,878 hours for the community. 1993-94, Eric Filmer was president. supplied a hearing dog to Peter Haitley. Third year of the Lions International Foundation campaign site first fundraiser. This fundraiser was an LC Lions Clubs International Foundation. It was ran over a 4-year period, and worldwide it raised some $200 million. Our club's contribution to that was $5,300. It was our most successful year at Miss Personality Quest. Our entrant Angela Cooper raised some $23,000 with help of a committee and her parents John and Diane. 1994-95, Paul Webb, hey Paul, was the president. Thanks to the efforts of Brenton McGee, the club was awarded a $5,000 Levi Strauss scholarship to spend on local teachers to work for workshops for the Lions Quest Skills program on drug awareness and life skills. This money was spent over the next 3 or 4 years sending teachers to that program. Club donated towards the Institute Recreation a total of $13,000 over this period. That was used to purchase seats, or help purchase seats, and the other thing, the big thing they did at the Institute was put acoustic tiles on the wall to help reduce the sound. In 1995-96, Ken Edwards was the president. The club hosted some 72 patrons, Lions and partners from around Australia at a home hospitality evening in conjunction with the Multiple District Convention that was held in Adelaide that year. 5 members of the Gawler Club opened their home for an evening meal. We picked the people up in Adelaide on a bus and brought them to Gawler. And in 2004, when in Cairns, convention up there, Dorothy and I and another couple were sitting in a cafe, and we heard this couple talking about this wonderful night they had at Gawler, at this home hospitality when they were in the convention in Gawler. And I said, oh yeah, whose home were you in? They turned out they were in Norm Knispel's home, because one of them said, oh yes, it's a chap with red teeth. Well, Norm used to get red teeth when he drank too much red wine. So we knew it'd say that how people can run into each other when you've never really met, but you get conversation. Built a shed to store our caravan and our club supplies property on Bob Phillips's property on a peppercorn lease. Pat Mills was elected as District Governor, the first from our club. The club presented 4 remaining charter members with Melvin Jones Awards. They were Norm Knispel, Lou Perry, Max Rogers and Elmar Semberg. Later presented to his wife Valley. At the Probus Club on that day, he was to be given the award. He unfortunately passed away at that Probus meeting. Spent $1,500 sending local teachers to the life skills workshops. 1996-97, Ian Marshall became our president. Supported Gabby's, Gawler and Barossa Youth Services with a donation of some $1,800. $1,800 we also, towards the National Trust roofing at the National Trust. I know we did it, I think it was on the sheds at the back of the National Trust building. 1997-98, Wayne Oakes was the president. The first of Stedford was held at the Octon Theatre at Elizabeth. 8 schools participated with 11 choirs This was organised by Bob Mansforth, and it was a very successful night. The club made Norm Knispel a life member, our first life member. We helped a disabled student from Anglevale with our Intel keyboard, a further $1,800 donation to Gabby's. We did this for a number of years. We assisted Gabby's they had a van and we supplied them with fuel plus other donations. Maggie Graham was inducted into the club as the first lady member. Lions celebrated 50 years in Australia. 1998-99, Bob Mansforth was our president. Kevin Howard was elected as District Governor for our district, the second from Gawler Club. We sponsored their Stedford again. Continued to support teachers in the Lions Quest Life Skills program. Some 1,917 hours of service work was recorded that year. 1999-2000, Brenton McGee was president. Held a fabulous Kerry McGee, spectacular. Kerry McGee, for those that don't know, she was a fashion designer and she was Brenton McGee's cousin actually, but she came across from Sydney and put on this fashion parade for us. We raised in excess of $7,000 towards refurbishing a room at Green Hill Lodge for the Anti-Cancer Foundation. Again supported Gabby's. Held a monstrous auction and gave the profits to various charities. Donated $1,900 to the Gawler Health Service. 2000-2001, John Chiller was our president. We adopted the Gawler station and proposed to restore the station master's residence and return the loco to the station and maintain the gardens. We worked some 1,424 community hours service and donated $13,450 to various charities and Lions projects. 2001-2002, Pat Mills was president. We finally got approval to build our rotunda in Pioneer Park, a project that had been on the drawing board for a number of years. It was completed and opened to celebrate the 100th year of Federation by the Mayor of Gawler on the 3rd of November. A second big challenge of the year was the Gawler Station Market. After a small beginning, in January, the Sunday market began to grow to approximately 20 traders. This is a very large part of our fundraising and is popular today with some 80 trading stalls around Christmas time, and it still remains our major fundraiser. 2002-2003, Gwyneth Helbus was the president. It took 2 years to build the Lions Memorial Wall in Lions Park to commemorate those Lions who have passed away while in service. The official opening was performed by the District Governor of the day, John Taylor, and blessed by Tony Chapman, a Uniting Church of the Uniting Church, who also president of the Barossa Lions Club at that stage. We moved Dolly Gray, the locomotive, from Victoria Terrace to the Gawler railway station. We had a quote to do this. It was going to cost us $20,000. But thanks to Eric Filmer, who worked for Scott's Transport at that stage, and Nick's Cranes and Scott's, therefore, the job was completed for a cost of 4 cartons of beer.
Oh, that's better than 20 grand.
So that was quite a saving. Actually, I couldn't get across the pub quick enough to buy the 4 cartons of beer before they changed their mind. But they didn't share it with us. They took it home. But anyhow, purchased a pager for a lady in Gawler in place of a hearing dog, celebrated our 35th anniversary with 4 charter members present. 2003, 2004, Bob Warren, President. Highlight of this year was the winning of the Premier's Award for our major project, the Gawler Railway Station. Donated $3,000 to Cara House, and we had several working bees down there. Sent more teachers to Skillshare workshops. Donated two walkers through the Lions Children's Mobility Foundation to 2 local children. We did that. We do that in conjunction with. It used to be the Crippled Children's. Navita. They give us the names. We supply the walkers, but they supply the people that receive these, the names of the people that receive those. 2004, 2005, I was back in the chair again as president. We supported the Elizabeth Convention for the district, Gawler being the responsibility for the opening ceremony, which was organised by Pat Mills. What a night that turned out to be. Pat never did anything at halves. Donated $1,500 to Lions Club's International Foundation for the tsunami appeal. Australian clubs donated just over $1 million to that appeal, and most of it was used to build new homes in Archie. 2,400 were given to the bushfire appeal in the West Coast. Major project was furnishing palliative care units at the Gawler New Health Hospital, the new hospital, costing $10,000, which $5,000 were provided by Lions Club of Gawler, and we had a grant from our Australian Lions Foundation of $5,000. This project was officially opened on the 1st of August. Oh no, it was in August, not the 1st. Fully funded from the community and service clubs and local businesses. We actually purchased the furniture for the lounge that is between the two wards. In 2005, 2006, this was my year as District Governor, being the 3rd District Governor from the Gawler Club. I had 74 clubs to visit, reaching from Adelaide to Cooper Pedy in the north and Woodner in the west.
Yeah.
Travelled some 44,000 kilometres that year for Lions.
Yeah.
It wasn't all at my expense. We do get an expense, or district governors do get an expense account, but it doesn't cover everything we do. But it was a most enjoyable year, and I wouldn't want to do it again.
And you didn't get divorced?
Too old now. Donated a enclosed 4-wheel trailer to the Scouts. Renovation on the Station Master's Cottage was completed, and in February, as a Lions community project, we handed it over to the community gallery to use, and they're still there today. Canopy over the train was finished, and work began to restore the train. Our thanks go to Bob Arns for the installation of the canopy. In appreciation, the club honoured Bob with the Medal of Merit, being the highest award that can be given, highest Lions award that can be given to a non-Lion. Donated to the Lions Children's Mobility Foundation some $3,000 for 3 more walkers to aid local children. Donated $2,000 to ALF for Cyclone Larry, and $2,000 to LCIF, which is Lions Clubs International Foundation, for campaign site 2. And that campaign site, site 2 campaign, they all raised worldwide about $2.25 million in 3 years. 2006, 2007, Tom Donaldson was president. Assisted primary school with breakfast program, Evanston's primary school with breakfast program. This we carried on for several years. Made several large donations. ALF through Australian Lions Foundation to Cyclone Larry, Lions Cord Blood Appeal, LCIF was another safe site, 2 program donation, and Children's Mobility Foundation, total of $6,900, and the market was still going strong. 2007, 2008, catered for a state government cabinet meeting in Gawler. We supplied a sit-down meal for 210 people in the rec centre, and our profit was greater than our expenses. Won't go any further than that. During the year, we joined forces with the Gawler branch of the Cancer Council to help them with their biggest morning tea, and still do that today. Supplied sound system to the Gawler Council for use in the youth shack at the rec centre at a value of some $16,200. There again, our club supplied half, and we had another grant from Australian Lions Foundation for the other half. 2008, 2009, Jim Downer was our president. Lions organised the assistance of service clubs. Start again, Dean. Lions organised with assistance from other service clubs, cooked and served a full breakfast at the RSL's dawn service on Anzac Day. We're still involved with that today. Today, the last 2 years, the Lions Club has done that on their own without any assistance from other clubs. That's the way the RSL wanted it. So again, catered to another state government cabinet meeting in Elizabeth at the Elizabeth Civic Centre. Again, great profit was made, and it was for about the same amount of people. This was the first year of packing Christmas hampers, and has continued on to today. $6,000 was given to the Gawler Council for the upgrade of the RSL monument and gardens in Pioneer Park. $2,000 was given to the Gawler Quality of Life Foundation. This foundation was established as a trust by the Rotary Club of Gawler, now managed by 6 trustees, one of these being a Lions member. $3,000 to ALF, to Australian Lions Foundation, for the Victorian bushfire appeal. $1,600 was raised by Peter Baker for this when he rode. I suppose everyone here just about know Peter. He rode a bike for 121 kilometres for bushfire support, and he gave the money to us to put with our contribution towards the bushfires. You'll notice that we put a lot of money through this ALF for all our disaster programs. It's the simplest way of doing it, rather than us giving it to the area. This way it goes. Any grants they give out, they give them to the clubs in the area to distribute. It's all done. There's no charge. It's all done voluntary. if they give you 30, 40,000 to distribute after disaster, that 30 or 40,000 gets to the end user. There's no charges put on anything, so it's all, so every dollar goes to the end user. 2009-2010, Eric Filmer became our president. Marked 10 years of our market. That year the market raised some $16,200 and we relocated to the southern end of the car park. We purchased a drum set for the youth shack, the rec centre. Donated another hearing dog to a lady from Evanston. Since the hearing dogs were set up in Verdun in 1980, some 500 dogs have been trained and put into service around Australia. Held a diabetic and blood pressure screening at the Coles complex with assistance of 2 doctors and 2 nurses and the members of the Lions Club. Screened 130 people. Several required follow-up with their local GPs. Donated some $3,000 to the Lions Cord Blood Childhood Cancer Appeal. 2010-2011, Barry Hill became our president. We did Christmas hampers again. This year the Lions Club and the Gawler Cancer Council group were awarded the Gawler Australia Day Award for the best project, the biggest morning tea. Again, we supported the Quality of Life Foundation to $5,000, a dental clinic in Timor, Queensland floods and New Zealand earthquakes through ALF, Australian Lions Foundation, and Pakistan flood relief and Japanese earthquake appeal to the value of $1,000 each through LCIF. And speaking on that is this last lot of floods in Japan, LCIF have given the Japanese clubs in that area $300,000 as a emergency grant to help people out in that area. 2011-2012, Ray Barossa, I think if I have a mouthful of water on mine. Barossa. It was the second year we had been able to sell Lions Christmas cakes at Bunnings at Manapara. When they closed there, we came up to Gawler, and we still go there today, and that's well worth sitting there and watching the people walk by. Flying Doctor received $1,000, and our Youth of the Year entrant Jessica performed very well, reaching the state finals. For many years we have collected spectacles and spent them to our Lions recycling site depot in Australia, in Queensland. Part of the worldwide program collecting used spectacles, Australian Post shipped these glasses free of charge, an ongoing project for the club for many years. Also we collect hearing aids. And if anyone has got any old glasses or hearing aids they would like to donate to us, you can hand them in at our Sunday market any Sunday. They'd be most welcome. We usually ship somewhere around 6 or 7 Christmas cake boxes a year up to Queensland. 2012-2013, Ray Barossa was our president again. We renovated the old kiosk at the railway station and turned it into our den. We later renamed the Pat Mills Den in honour of the services Pat gave to the club over the years. Catering van was refurbished and was action. We catered at many places that year once we got the van back. Village Fair, motorbike swap meet, Scouts car rally and many more. We supported our usual foundations with $1,000 to the ALF Tasmanian Bushfire Appeal and many others. 2013-14, Brian Ray became our president. Assisted in preparation for a playground at the new hospital in conjunction with other service clubs. Donated $16,000 towards the rubber flooring they put down in the playground. Once again involved with hosting Youth of the Year entrant Laura Kingmill from Trinity College. 2014-2015, David Schwartz was our president. We held our first skin cancer screening in the rec centre. We tested some 160 people on over 2 days, and 48 of those people were referred for further inspection by their GPs for action. Gawler has been allocated a second screening sometime in this year, 2018-19. We have now purchased a mobile unit. It costs the clubs in South Australia, the 2 districts, C1, C2, South Australia and Northern Territory, $100,000 to put this unit on the road, which was partly financed by Australian Lions Foundation and LCIF and the clubs in the district. It's fully paid for and operable. It's been operating now for about 2 years. We do about 16, 17 screenings a year throughout South Australia, the Sunrays area of Victoria, Broken Hill and the Northern Territory. Donated some $32,000 in this year to various groups and charities around and Lions projects around Australia. 2015-16. One other thing we did do there I missed out was the Samson fires. We manned a catering van at the recovery centre at Williston. Lions are responsible statewide for any disaster. We're responsible to supplying food at the recovery centres for the victims and for the staff of the recovery centres. So this year we did. We're about 10 days or so. We're up there doing that. So we'll get back to Bob now. 15-16, Bob Green. Winery fires. We supplied meals to victims and staff at the recovery centre at the Gawler Recreation Centre for a number of days. Within 24 hours of the fire, Australian Lions Foundation had granted $250,000 in emergency grants. This money went to people that had lost their homes. They registered, had to come in and register, and this money was, in different values, was divided up basically amongst those people. You know, these people were also given a Christmas hamper at Christmas time by our club. Another $90,000 was from ALF was given to the community through the 3 Lions clubs involved in the fire with Balaclava, Malala and Gawler for community projects. And then after the fire, when Blaze Aid were here, we supplied evening meals for the Blaze Aid people on 9 nights at Roseworthy College. We paid for some flood lighting at the Gawler Community Centre, at the Community House, to the value of $2,157. 1916-17, Ray Brasso was president again. We donated $1,000 to the Medical Research Centre. $3,000 towards purchasing an alert dog for a child at Williston area. This alert, he's type 1 diabetes, and this dog is trained to let his mother know when his sugar levels get low.
Oh.
It's really very, very interesting, and it's really made a difference to him. He was about 9 or 10, I think it was at the time. We donated $3,000 towards the purchase of that dog, and we got another $1,500 from our ALF Foundation to assist that on a compassionate grant. Don't know what that was. Major project for the year, we donated $25,000 to various groups. Market continues to flourish. 2017 and 18. We celebrated our 50th anniversary with a dinner in the Gawler let's start that one again, I think. We celebrated our 50th anniversary with a dinner, and also celebrated the 100th anniversary of Lions International and the 70th anniversary of Lions in Australia. The celebration of the 50th anniversary, we built electric barbecue in our Lions Park down by the swimming pool, which we paid the council $30,000 for. We gave a donation to the Gawler Health Centre in memory of the late Bob Phillips, and $1,000 towards the new War Memorial in Gawler. So we're up to current times. 2018, 2019, I'm the president at this stage. I have nothing to report on what we've done so far this year. But we have several things planned. Well, I have several things planned. I've got to get approval from the club first. Some of our meeting places over the 50 years, we've been around a lot. We started at the Kingsford Hotel. We went to South End. Then we came back to the Kingsford, but I'll just read out the places we did go to. It was, as I said, the Kingsford Hotel, South End Hotel, Gawler Arms Hotel, the Williston Hotel, the Williston Football Club, the Gawler Racecourse, Criterion Hotel for dinners only. We held meetings in our den. Nixon's Terrace Restaurant and Gawler 15. Gawler, if you don't know what Gawler 15 is, it's a catering school ran by the high school. It's ran in the old house on the corner of you drive into if you go into Barnett Road off the main North Road. And we support that a bit with an award each year too. This is only an overview of 50 years of Lions in Gawler. This is a small portion of projects and activities that we've done. Today in Australia there are some 1,200 clubs with 28,000 members. So thank you, and I hope I haven't bored you.
Do with age.
An old Lions member.
Yeah. Between Apex, Lions and Probus, I've had 60 years of involvement, and most of this has been ACT. I'd like to, the Dean, you've creamed it.
Yeah, I should have sat down, should I?
No, I'd like to elaborate on the period of the Gawler Institute.
Oh yes, thanks, yeah.
Brian, he just quoted figures and they go through very quickly, but Dr. Bruce was a council representative on our change handover committee, and I think he'll agree with me that apart from the financial benefit that we got from Lions, there was a lot of other benefits and expertise from Pat Mills and a whole heap of others, and I'd like to get some details from you and elaborate on it, because the new upgrade of the Institute, they're looking for details.
I haven't got a lot more details than what I said tonight, but I can probably find a few more things. But I know Pat was involved, and I sort of know that was that approximate. I wouldn't say that was a correct figure. It was a figure as close as I could get with the records I had.
They ring bells. Yeah. So anyhow, I won't hold you up anymore. But 60 years and what Dean's gone through tonight, I've sure had some memories, like he spoke about Elmer Sandberg's at a Provost meeting, and I was sitting alongside Elmer's that day when he slipped out of his chair and he was dead on the floor. He nearly had a partner with him, I can tell you. But congratulations, Dean, on your effort.
Thanks, John.
The thing that ground me down the lines after quite a reasonable session was that pussy gate on the show. They were absolute
yes.
pains. They'd
Yes. Okay.
they'd want to get in for free, and Dean quoted the figures, but the show gates weren't making any money at all. All the different people were letting their cobbers in for free. But the first year we took it over, I think you said it was $1,900 or something.
Yeah, something, yeah. That's
So
been very
we
good.
made one hell of a difference that year.
That money we've got for the show gates was a contract job. Lions aren't allowed to use any public money on themselves. We have to fund ourselves for all our expenses, our subs and that like that. But we did a contract with the Gawler Show Society at that stage that money could go to our administration account. And with the agreement of the Show Society, or any organisation, that can be done. But it can't you can't go and run a barbecue really and put that money in. It has to be sort of contract type work. Yes, I can remember a mate of yours there that one year said some lady was coming in with a cat and he wanted to know how a pussy was. Keith Hobbs.
Yeah, congratulations, Dean.
Thanks, John.
Right,
Yes, we had a lot of fun together over the years, John. You were in the club.
Bruce Eastley, you have a question?
No, I'm just going to make a comment that earlier on it was indicated that the Lions Club had assisted with the aged cottage homes. The aged cottage homes, which started with 11 units, now has 145, with about another 4 to be started up at James Martin Village in the not too distant future. We will celebrate its 50 years of existence in 1969. And so it's another one of the areas which has been assisted by various of the service clubs, Lions included, and is just another historical record of what's happening in the town in which we live.
Thank you, Bruce. A couple of things I got out of it, Dean, was Elmer Sandberg's. Coincidentally, we've just put Elmar's up on the website, with your help, thank you. And Elmar's and Volley's life history is extremely
I'll have to
important.
look that up.
Yes, and he was president of Apex when I was there, and lovely fellow. And I always remember if we went to a public speaking event or a debating event and we lost, he would say, "Vivos robbed." That was
Sounds like Elmar's, yeah.
Vivos robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned was Hilda Heinrich's portrait. Yes, that's been taken down. Of course, the whole Institute and Town Hall were gutted, and in January, February next year, you will be astounded, and I reckon you'll find Hilda Heinrich's portrait back up again. But the restoration that's going on there is going to be fabulous for Gawler. finally, you mentioned the post office in house in Gillingham Street, and we've only just this week loaded up Harold Marsh and mural on the website with a picture of that house, and it's the only picture I've seen of that house, which was the old postmaster's house that Lions then were involved in demolishing. That was about 2004 or something.
Oh, I don't know what year all these things happened actually, but I can remember we also were helped demolish Graham's. He was a what was he?
Blacksmith.
Blacksmith.
Yeah. His house was on the corner. By where? What's the street where you go around?
Fotheringham Terrace.
Yeah.
Fotheringham Terrace.
Yeah, Fotheringham Terrace, and then the street that runs off up. Don't ask me what street it was, but it was on that far corner anyhow. I can remember being involved in that. That was the first one I reckon we pulled down. I was only in Lions a couple of years then or year.
Any other questions?
Remember when the Lions used to put on good concerts
Good
Oh,
concerts.
the old time musicals, yes.
in the industry?
Yeah, well, we couldn't get it. Some nights some years we sold tickets out very quickly for that. We finished up running in 2 nights, Thursday or a Friday and a Saturday night.
Raised a lot of money.
Probably 10, 12 years or something they operated for. As I said, I couldn't bring everything into it.
We raised a lot of money in those music halls.
We did, yes, we did, Jeff.
An awful lot.
And some of us made bloody big fools of ourselves too, didn't we?
That was part of the fun.
That was, yeah.
On that positive note, I'll ask Paul Webb to give our vote of thanks for an excellent address. Thank you, Dean.
First, I'd like to thank Dean. I was a member of Lions for probably 16 years in total, and it was a really good trip down memory lane for myself and obviously a few others tonight as well. And I think all the wonderful work that the club did during my period, all the wonderful people I worked with. Unfortunately, a lot of those have moved up to the Lions Den in the Sky, but there's still a few oldies, if I call them that are still active members, and including young Jeff at the back there, and Dean. And the people we do tend to forget when we talk about any of the community clubs are the partners of the members. And when I was in Lions Club, we always used to thank not just the members of the community club itself, but the fact that they were supported by a network of people, mainly their family, and the fact that the family often didn't have their partner at home because they're out on the gates, or they were doing some digging, or they were collecting money. So really it's about the community clubs plus. So I recognise tonight the Lions partners, or when I was there it was mainly a male club originally, so it was the Lions ladies. But I think that applies to every community club in Gawler. And the second part, which is probably wider, if you look at the Lions Club in Gawler and somebody said to you physically, what can you see they've done? You would look at the Lions Park, which is sort of traditional in every town almost, the Rotunda and the Lions Market. But as past District Governor Dean said tonight, there is a shed load of other things that they've done that you do not see. So very much they're the quiet achievers on a local, national and international level. So I'd like to thank Dean for representing Lions Club tonight and all the work that they've done and all their partners, and to have a round of applause for that.
Thank you, Paul, for that.
Hold on.
Wait.
This is even better, you get a present. Okay, so that's worth coming. So if you hold on, I'll just get the present and do that to you. Thank you. Oh boy, there we go. Thank you. There we go, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to do it tonight. Thanks, Paul, for those kind words. And one thing I probably did miss out a bit on was the partners, but we couldn't do half of what we do without our partners. And if it wasn't for Dorothy typing this out for me, I don't know where I would have been. But thanks, Dorothy.